Welcome to the weekly water outlook for June 29th, 2014. I'm John Feldt. Well, here's the precipitation over the last 7 days, and it's definitely very dry over the southwest U.S., but if you look at the middle part of the nation, you can really see a scattered pattern of precipitation, which is typical of summer. The areas in red are areas of precipitation over 5 inches, and there was definitely some interaction along the South Gulf Coast, Louisiana, and parts of the Texas coast. But other than that, it was very, very scattered type pattern, and the enhancement of precipitation, say in central Iowa, western Kansas, a few other areas, these were due to sort of a regional or meso-type event, and it wasn't all that widespread. So if we look at percent of normal, look at this, just really a mishmash here. We have some areas of red and some areas of blue, but really we did have some welcome recharge over western Kansas, far western Oklahoma, needed in that region, and even parts of Texas. So let's hope that that trend continues. We also see off to the east along the Mississippi River, the lower Mississippi River, all the way downstream from just south of St. Louis down to the mouth, we saw enhanced precipitation in that region as well. Now, it wasn't all that widespread, but especially in that area from parts of Kansas down through Texas, at least there was some precipitation in that area. Now, I wanted to really step back for the last 30 days and take a look at where rain fell, because some areas really did have received some extreme rain. Now, I wanted to show you that area in purple. That's 10 inches or more in the last 30 days. Now, look at the number of regions that have received that. We have parts of Kansas, parts of Nebraska, the U.S. Corn Belt, all the way up into Minnesota, where flooding is certainly common. But we also have areas of purple in western parts of Tennessee and along the lower Mississippi River region. And then if we look at parts of Oklahoma and Texas, we see a fairly widespread 2 inches, that's yellow, but then we get into that area of red, that's 5 inches or more. So we really have had a very welcome precipitation events over the last 30 days in parts of Oklahoma and Texas that really needed it, and definitely in Kansas on up to the north. Now, if we look at just the last week again, this is where soil moisture has increased, that's blue, and areas where soil moisture has decreased, that's areas of brown and red. Now take a look at stream flow across the nation. Areas in blue are high stream flow, areas in black are very high, are near flood stage or above flood stage. And really you can see that the upper Midwest into parts of the eastern northeast U.S. are really the areas that have been the action spot. Part of the Carolinas, Minnesota, Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin has really been the area where there's been very high stream flow due to recent rainfall. Matter of fact, if we look at the flood forecast, parts of the Missouri downstream through central Missouri is running in minor flood, and then we see the real action spots from Minneapolis, which is forecast to either experience or has hit major flood. That's the area in purple. Moderate floods in red, and that extends all the way downstream to pretty much just north of St. Louis, where minor flood stage is in orange there. So you can see a pretty big reach of the upper Mississippi ranges from minor to moderate flooding, and a pretty strong large reach all the way from Minneapolis down to about Quincy is in significant flood. So it's been very active from a flood perspective. Now, temperatures over the last week, you can see here areas in green were associated with areas of precipitation, and temperatures were a bit cooler, 2 degrees, maybe 3 degrees below normal. Areas in yellow were a bit above normal, anywhere from 2 to 4 degrees above normal. Okay, now here's the pattern this week. We're getting into right in the middle of, or the early part of summer here, and this is somewhat unusual. We're getting a dip in the jet stream this week. This is the average flow for the entire week. Our blue here is indicating below normal pressure, and that means that the jet stream will be dipping, and what that will do is pull a cold front across the nation. You can see in the insert here that's late this week. It's over the southeast U.S., so it's moving across the upper Midwest early this week, and it's going to push across the entire Midwest and even parts of the South. Now, note that over Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, it really becomes stationary. It does not pull down into that region, but a large part of the Midwest is going to be drying out and becoming a bit cooler as that front pushes through. Now, until the front pushes through, it looks like there will be scattered precipitation. The air mass is quite muggy ahead of that, and you can see precipitation. Now, I will tell you that it's very hard to forecast exact amounts and exact locations in this type of pattern. So right now it has about 3 inches over parts of Iowa, down 2 inches Oklahoma-Kansas border, but I wouldn't put a whole lot of credibility in that. It could be anywhere along that front as it pushes through. And you can sort of see this alignment here. That's that front as it pushes through. But whether it's going to be right there or right here or right here or right here, it's very hard to say. Elsewhere, it looks like scattered precipitation, widely scattered precipitation in Texas. That front is really not going to get down in that region all that far. Eastern U.S. scattered precipitation as well. Now, as we get through the long-range climate models, as I look through each week, we're probably going to only see the large-scale type patterns. We're not going to see the mesoscale or the regional type patterns, which dominate summer. So I would expect, unless we see a major trend, to see some adjustments. So anyway, this is the next 7 days. You can see green is above normal precipitation, green is above normal, yellow is below normal. And here's the second period, July 6th through 13th. Now we're getting into the middle of July, and you can see that it's just really not a real strong type pattern. I think there's still some signal in the middle part of the nation, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, of perhaps of somewhat above normal precipitation, and then drier to the south. But I wouldn't call this anything that I have a high confidence in. Now, there is a higher confidence in this temperature anomaly. I mentioned that dip in the jet stream, and you can see this week over the upper Midwest, we do have 6 to 8 degrees below normal as far as anomaly, so that will be definitely a refreshingly cool break from summer temperatures in that region. And then we see over the second period, July 4th through 9th, it pulls off to the east, and really this whole central U.S. is under that cooler temperatures. I wouldn't say it's going to be in most areas, extremely strong anomaly, but I think in that 2 to 6 degree range looks pretty common. Now, one of the things I've been watching here is it's beginning to show a bowing of the jet stream, more of a amplified flow like this. And if very well towards we get the latter part of July, this could push off to the east, and it could usher in some of the hotter temperatures of the year. But we're going to have to see. I'll keep an eye on that. But I just want to say sometimes there's a payback. If the jet stream dips here, it bows up to the west, and it's just a matter of time before it pushes off to the east. So I'll keep an eye on that. So I know throughout my briefings throughout the year, some of them go on and they ramble for quite a while. I'm going to try to keep this one short because it's mainly a summertime pattern. We're going to have that front pushing through, cooling off the upper Midwest, widespread scattered late day precipitation until that front comes through, and the tropics look quiet. And I hope you all have a great 4th of July. I'll be putting out information throughout this week, and if I see anything interesting, I'll bring it to your attention. Have a great week. I'll talk to you again next weekend.